Brian and Liz Fullerton, and we wanted to share with you guys for just a little bit about our process that we went through with the Miller Building Company and share hopefully our story about building our custom home over here in the Brighton, Michigan area. This is my beautiful wife, Elizabeth. It's been a couple of years since we've started this whole process, and we're finally there. We finally wrapped it up. We've been in the home for about 90 days now. What's your thoughts and feelings about this whole process so far?
It's been a really fun process. A lot of it, I felt like I was on like HGTV or something. Like you literally pick everything from the ground up, and it can be exactly what you want it to be, which is always fun.
That's awesome, that's awesome. Well, what we wanted to do is share a little bit about the process that we were able to go through, and let's take it from the top. We're gonna be talking about finding our dream piece of property, and we actually were able to secure that about 4 or 5 years ago. When we were about to start the building process, we started scrambling trying to find a builder. This was all entirely new for us. Do you want to talk to him for just a couple of minutes about how that whole process went?
Yeah, so we had it in mind for many years that we wanted to build a custom home. We had toured so many different like existing communities, model homes and things like that. So we had a really good idea of what we liked and what we didn't, and knew what exactly we wanted wasn't already out there for us. So starting with that in mind, we started looking at property about 5 years ago and really narrowed it down to the Brighton area. We love living in this area and raising a family. It's an up and coming area, definitely young families moving in, which is something we were looking for. And in that process of looking for land, we also started looking into other builders. One
day through sheer brilliance, we were driving off of our property, and I said, well, let's call that sign Mike Miller Building Company. And so that whole process was actually pretty unique. I remember us being at our old apartment, and I called up that phone number on the sign, and lo and behold, Mike Miller himself was able to pick up the phone. And if you guys know Michigan, he was actually up north vacationing and took a phone call.
Took our phone call.
Which we were really, really grateful for. And that changed everything. That was a huge fork in the road for us. One of the very first things that I remember Mike asking us was, do we have an architect yet for the home? And we did not. We had just bought the land. We had just obviously found what we believed to be our builder. And all we had was a lot of saved photos.
A lot of saved photos.
We had actually a home folder. If you remember our home folder.
It was like a portfolio or
a bifold portfolio.
Yeah, so each room had its own section.
Yep, we were old school. We took magazine cutouts of every room, every nook and cranny of the home that we wanted, and we put it into this folder. And like Liz said, it was categorized into different rooms and all that fun stuff.
We had a lot of time to dream while saving up for the home.
Yes, and we also had a lot of inspirational photos saved on social media and whatnot for ideas and designs that we wanted to incorporate. Some good, some lofty, some more practical, and we'll get into that here in a quick minute. But what we were able to do is tap into Mike's network, and he linked us up with a really good architect locally, which was TK Design out of South Lyon, Michigan. And let me tell you what, that organization and that group of folks, first class, world class with what they do. One of the best investments we made was into a good architecture firm, good architecture plans, and that whole process took about a year for us. Now you can do it a lot faster for sure, but this was all new to us, and we're very grateful that they held our hand through that whole process.
So we had a baby in between there too, so a lot of life happening, so they really held our hand the whole way. And it was I remember sitting down for the first time with Mike Vladimir at the table, and he brought out some paper and just started sketching as we were talking about what it felt like to walk through our dream home. And it was so cool to see immediately that he caught our vision. Throughout this process, we've kind of learned, like, if we sit down with somebody and they don't immediately start getting what we're trying to explain, then they're probably not who we need to be working with. And the fact that he was able to put pen to paper right away, I could see what I was talking about now coming down on the table, was amazing. And the fact that they have such a good working relationship with Mike Miller. There are builders out there who will do everything for you, your architecture plans, and alter them and then build the home. But we wanted people who were like specialists in what they do, and TK and Mike Miller Building Company are those. And them partnered together for us was like the perfect all-star team, if you will. So.
Yeah, and one thing that I really enjoyed personally was going through this whole process as a couple. And we're about a year into this whole conversation and having TK really go take us through their process from, like Liz said, the initial, I call it chicken scratch, on the yellow graphing paper, and totally correct. Like Mike Vladimir, one of their main architects and main guys, was able to, on that very first sketch, get us about 90% of the way there on the home that we were looking to build, not only on the exterior, but on the interior. It was phenomenal. And when he turned the yellow paper around and slid it across the desk at us, I looked at you and I'm getting goosebumps now talking about it. I said, that's our dream home.
Yeah.
And now we still had a lot of work to do to take care of the interior and what we wanted it for our lifestyle and for our growing family. So that whole process did take a little bit more time, as you can imagine. But I also got to meet Todd and Katie of TK, and they actually gave us a tour, through the whole office, and just beautiful folks and just world class at what they do. And I will tell you, there's two oars in the water here. One is the Miller Building Company, but two is TK Design, and I don't think we could have done this whole process without either of them, to be honest. So very, very grateful for TK. We could talk about them for another 10, 20, 30 minutes for sure. I do remember, though, going through this whole process and them value engineering, the plan for our budget and for our lifestyle, and really taking time also with Mike Miller, kind of being the quarterback of this whole project, and really helping us to make the best investments that we could for the home. Really put money into the materials and the building process to have the best bang for the buck with our project. And that was conversations about the exterior walls, the framing, utilizing every inch of the home, different things with natural light and how that would affect the home and the mood. And of course, just catching our vision for what we wanted the home to look like and feel like. And again, like Liz had said, they really caught the vision from day one. And that's something that I think was just missing from a lot of the other builders that we were trying to court.
Something I really appreciated about TK's process too is that they have a almost virtual reality set up where you can walk through your home almost like you're on The Sims or something like that. So it's one thing to see things drawn out on paper, but if you are like me and you really need to put yourself in the home, that can be difficult, and it's kind of scary for a lot of people, right? Because you're making these huge financial investments and decisions for the home. So to be able to actually go through and walk through your home was really cool and a really unique process to them in our area that I appreciated. Another thing too is they never made us feel guilty if we needed to go back and change something, or hey, I'm kind of questioning this, can we revisit this area? They always took time with us, and they had Mike in on multiple different meetings to make sure that things made sense from his perspective too, which again, I really appreciated. So.
Yeah, one of my favorite lines from one of the carpenters was, architects design things, builders build things, and carpenters actually make them a reality. And so it was a fun process to see things, like Liz said, go from paper to actual design, and then also make sure that it fit the budget that we were looking to invest in with Mike Miller and his team. So that was a very, very fun process. And again, long story short, we couldn't be more grateful and thankful for the TK family. Beautiful people, check them out, and very, very grateful for that whole process.